Have you ever found that your life is like a giant, emotional dump, the grievances, anger, anxiety that others have thrown in, you've caught them silently, and then you say, "It's all right, I understand," and you put all this stuff into your body. A colleague's work was wrong, his leadership was scolded with blood, and you were dragged on the way to work. You were tired that day, but you were able to comfort him, to help him find a reason and, finally, to take the responsibility of, "Isn't I not doing anything right?" When someone in the family is in a bad mood, with a heavy face and tone, you start to scan yourself immediately. Did I just say something wrong? Did I not take care of his feelings? So you put down your hand, explain it, do it together, put your emotions in the corner and make sure others don't blow up. A friend gives you a big voice saying that you're in love, you're wrong, you're in the same circle. You talk to her, you help her analyze each other's problems, you hang up the phone, she's asleep, you're looking at the ceiling alone, and you're full of other people's mess and emotional echoes. Have you ever noticed a strange thing? You're not a psychologist, but you're a emotional emergency room, everyone's refusal on you, and you're the only one day and one sky. Why are you always the one who knows, hears, and can handle? Why is it that when the atmosphere is awkward and when someone is unhappy, you come forward and clean up? Why are you more sensitive than anyone, but always saying, "No, let it go"? Worse, if you don't pick up, don't talk, don't take it, you're gonna feel guilty, blame yourself, and be bitten by the sound of "I'm too selfish." So your life is slowly becoming a strange state. On the outside, you are the one that no one can leave. On the inside, you are becoming increasingly confused, and what emotions are there, and what fatigue is actually your own. You think it's just a little bit of natural solidarity, a little bit of good character, soft heart, but you know it's not just goodness, it's a chronic self-consumption. You use your energy, your time and your nervous system as someone else's emotional painkillers, but you never ask, who will be responsible for your recovery? If one day you do something very unnatural, no more time to placate everyone's emotions, no more frustrations and anger, no more tacitly to need you to solve, no more automatic translation of others suffer into I have a duty to carry them, what happens to your world? Will they still love you? Will the relationship collapse immediately? Will you really be the kind of negative, selfish you fear the most? On the contrary, from that moment on, your energy and your entire picture of life will be forced to rewrite it completely. The real decision about your destiny may not be how many more people you have to take care of, but rather, when, for the first time, you put that part of your weight down and put it on your own. This moment, whether it brings disaster or liberation, we will open it up and show you. You now think that you are just more sympathetic, but from a psychological point of view, it is often not a gift, but a script of a role that has been written into the soul since childhood. You are not carrying emotions, you are carrying emotions in exchange for a sense of security that I have value and that I am not abandoned. Jung has a concept called persona, which is the layer of social skin that you take to face the world. For many people, this dimension is professional, proficient and capable. For you, it is likely to be the man who has a steady mood, the good man who knows, and the man who will always listen to you. Since when do you learn? If you can make others feel better, you will be exaggerated, warmed up and needed. If you express a little bit of your tiredness and unhappiness, you will be considered too sensitive as the glass heart. So you slowly come to the conclusion, and you don't even have to say, that, my emotions are not important, it is important not to be unhappy. This is the mask. On the surface, it is gentle and understanding. In essence, it is you who is using the phrase, takes care of the feelings of all, in place of a qualification that, I deserve to be left behind. And where did you hide it, who? The shadow of what Jung called it, the impulses of anger, fatigue, lack of control, of listening, of being a trash can. You don't have these feelings, you just learn to push them first. You say, I really don't want to hear any more today, but you say, you say, it's not my responsibility, and you say, it's okay, I'll do it, you say, it's hard for me, too, and you say, don't worry, it's going to pass. 1 can be considered considerate, 10 can be good, 10 can be long, and it has a more accurate name, self-treachery. What is self-treachery? You keep saying to yourself, it's okay, I'll take it again, it's okay, this time it's okay, I can handle it, and for a long time, you don't believe in your emotions, you don't trust your boundaries. The same is true of you in intimate relationships. When you're tired and he's upset, you switch to a small therapist. When you're comforting and self-censoring, did I just talk too hard? You rarely really ask, who cares how I feel? So the relationship looks like, you know things well, we don't fight, but you look like an imbalance, 1 in the output, 1 in the habit of asking. The same is true in the workplace. Whoever in the team goes through the emotional explosion, who doesn't go around, you go around in circles, you listen, you take responsibility for the mud, you take responsibility for cooling, and then no one remembers who came up with the idea, but only your good talker, good communicator. The more you try to make everybody comfortable, the harder it is for people to actually see, you're consuming, and you're overdrafting. Family relations are also, when parents get emotional, you get used to it. When you're a child, you become a translator, and you're a translator, and you're an emotional stabilizer. Everyone's reaction is secretly reinforcing one of your inner convictions. If I don't take it, this family will break up, this relationship will collapse and things will get worse. From here on, we're not talking about abstract concepts anymore. We're going to use a story you know all too well to let you see with your own eyes, how this hidden program of carrying everyone's emotions for them, slowly, step by step, pushes a person to the edge of collapse. Imagine a person, let's give her a name and call her Lawn. In other people's eyes, she carries a title that sounds almost honorable, the one who is always needed. When she was a child, scenes like this often played out at home. The adults' faces were dark, and the air felt as if it were coated in a layer of dust. Her mother was in the kitchen, slamming bowls and chopsticks, saying, "I'm fine," while her movements grew heavier and louder. Her father sat in the living room scrolling on his phone in silence, his shoulders tensed like a block of stone. What did Lawn do? She learned to quietly walk over and help her mother pick up the dishes, casually adding, "I actually did pretty well on my exam, you don't have to be mad." Then she would go to her father, hand him a glass of water, and say, "You must be really tired today, right?" When the adults' emotions eased a little, they would say, "You're the only one who's so sensible." From that day on, it was as if an invisible rule had been carved into her heart: as long as I can make the adults feel a bit better, I am useful. As long as I'm obedient and sensible, this family won't fall apart. Where did her own fear, hurt, panic, and anger go? They didn't disappear, they were just moved by her into a dark room in the basement of her inner world. Upstairs is the brightly lit living room, a forever sensible child, soothing every adult's emotions. Downstairs is a room that's never locked, yet she never dares to open it, a black space piled high with all the feelings she never had time to express. That room is the corner of her shadow. When she grew up, Lon changed the setting, but not the script. At work, she became the emotional firefighter. When a project went wrong, the boss exploded, or a colleague broke down, she would be the first to step forward and say, "Don't panic yet, we can still fix this." She does get tired, annoyed, and wants to pass the blame or say, "This isn't my problem." But the moment those feelings appear, she shoves them back into the darkroom inside her. She puts on a layer of professional stage makeup on her face, wears a mask of composure, and says with a smile, "It's okay, I understand." She does get tired, she does get annoyed, she does want to shift the blame and say, "This has nothing to do with me." But the moment those feelings show up, she stuffs them back into the darkroom. She puts on a layer of professional stage makeup as a mask, smiles, and says, "It's okay, I understand." And so, the mask gets rewarded, people praise her for being reliable, stable, and great at managing emotions. The shadow keeps getting pushed down, the version of her who wants to get angry, to say no, to say, "Can you take responsibility for yourself?" is locked away in that dark room downstairs. In her romantic relationships, it's the same logic at work. When her partner feels low, she instantly switches into listening and comforting mode. When they say, "Have you been a bit distant with me lately?" she'll start by examining herself, then explaining, then soothing them. Even though she's the one constantly pouring in time and energy, she's always the first to say, "I'm sorry, maybe I really haven't been considerate enough." Gradually, her life starts to look like a house whose exterior walls are intact, but whose inner structure is beginning to crack. On the outside, the lights are still on, the windows are still neat, and the living room is always ready with tea, snacks, and patience for others. On the inside, the floors are starting to show fine fractures, and the wires, overloaded for too long, occasionally make a faint, sizzling, burning sound. You'll start to see your own shadow in Lon. Her relationships quietly slip out of balance. Everyone comes to her to vent, to ask for help, to seek her advice, yet very few people sincerely ask, "So how are you doing?" And even when they do, after listening to one or two sentences, they quickly steer the conversation back to themselves. Her body also starts sounding the alarm. At night she can't sleep deeply. Even though she's exhausted, her mind runs like a server that can't be shut down, always working in the background. From time to time, there's a tightness in her chest, her stomach is often clenched, and hospital checkups don't find any major problem, just a vague label: too much stress, try to rest more. Every now and then, a frightening thought flashes through her mind: if only I could disappear for a few days, turn off my phone, and let no one be able to find me. Her range of life choices also grows narrower and narrower. She doesn't dare leave messages unanswered, because that would feel too irresponsible. She doesn't dare stay quiet at gatherings, afraid others will think something's wrong with her. She doesn't dare turn down any "Could you help me with this?" because inside her there's an old-fashioned broadcast speaker. replaying the same line every day. The reason people need you is because you can carry their emotions. If one day you stop carrying them, you don't deserve to stay. Until one day, the system finally crashes. That night, she answered 3 calls in a row, a coworker venting about workplace injustice, a friend sobbing over a breakup, a family member sending a voice message saying they'd been under a lot of stress too, hoping she could be more understanding, more considerate. After hanging up the last call, she suddenly realized she couldn't say a single comforting word. Her mouth opened, but only silence came out, along with a sour ache like wanting to cry but being unable to. Her body reacted first, racing heart, sweaty palms, tightness in her chest, as if someone had yanked down the main power switch of an entire house. On the outside the lights were still on, but inside, every wire was already burnt almost to breaking. The next day, she went to work as usual, smiled as usual, and said the usual, "I'm fine, really," but inside, a part of her had quietly caved in. In that moment, she suddenly became aware of something even more terrifying than being exhausted. She no longer had any idea who she was actually living for. This is the real curve of fate. At the beginning, you're just the one who listens a bit more and offers comfort a few more times than others. Later, you become everyone's default, emotional container, and eventually, your own life questions, your dreams, your pace are all shoved into the shadowy darkroom, leaving behind only one repeatedly called function, to make other people feel a little better. A real breakdown isn't that one huge fight, or the day a relationship officially ends, or the moment someone blocks you. A real breakdown is this. One day you're sitting on the edge of your bed, your phone lighting up beside you again and again, and you don't even have the strength to tap it open. Inside, there's only one hollow question echoing. If I'm no longer the one who carries everyone's emotions, what's left of me? So what about Lon, and you, and everyone who's been treading water for too long in other people's emotional floods? Do you still have a chance to turn things around? Yes. But only on one condition. You have to be willing to do something that almost feels like a crime, to, in certain moments, allow yourself to stop being the good one, to allow yourself, even just a little, to become the bad person in someone else's eyes. What we're going to talk about next is exactly that moment. What happens the first time you put down part of that weight, and how you can, step by step, go from being the emotional warehouse manager back to being the true owner of your own life. Real rebellion isn't the day you suddenly shout at everyone, "Stop bothering me." Real rebellion starts now, in the quiet moment when you tear up an old contract in your heart and say, "I am no longer responsible for everyone else's emotions. I am only responsible for my own." That sentence sounds selfish, doesn't it? Because since you were little, you were trained into a different script. If someone feels bad, it's my responsibility. If the atmosphere gets awkward, I have to step in and fix it. If someone is falling apart emotionally and I don't step up, who will? So the first counterintuitive rule is this: the greatest act of courage in your life is not being a little kinder to others, but, for the first time, stopping being so harsh toward yourself. When you no longer automatically jump into the role of emotional firefighter, you'll discover a truth that is both frightening and freeing. The world does not suddenly collapse just because you stop carrying everyone's emotions. The only thing that collapses is that old identity built around self-sacrifice. Next, I want to lead you through a few small acts of rebellion. They may not look earth-shattering, but with each one you take, you move a little further away from being the one who's always needed, and a little closer to becoming the one who is truly seen. Move 1, from auto-accepting every request to consciously saying no. In the past, whenever someone's emotions flared up, your brain would automatically pop up a system prompt, task, soothe/listen/fix accept. Now, you need to practice adding one step in the middle. Ask yourself first. When you receive a long string of ranting voice messages, a late-night call, or a sudden invitation to hold someone's emotions, don't rush to open it or reply. You can quietly ask yourself 3 questions first. 1. Do I still have the energy right now? 2. Is this really my responsibility, or just my habitual guilt? 3. Do I genuinely want to help, or am I only afraid of disappointing them? If your body is already exhausted and your mind feels foggy, if you can feel that you actually don't want to pick up but are only afraid of being seen as cold, then this time, practice a new reply. I'm not in a great state right now and I can't really listen to you properly. Can we talk when I've adjusted a bit and feel better? This is a very gentle yet clear emotional boundary. You're not denying their feelings, you're simply including yourself in the picture as well. The first time you say this, it will feel very unfamiliar. You may even feel nervous and guilty, like you're a bad person. But remember, this is exactly the starting point where you stop being an emotional customer service rep who auto-accepts every ticket and start becoming a person who has the right to choose. Move 2, practice not explaining. Give your life back to silence. You probably know this scene all too well. You turn down someone's request for help, they look a bit upset, and you immediately launch into frantic damage control explanations. It's really not that I don't want to help you, it's just that I've been so busy lately. Please don't misunderstand, I really care about you, it's just that I've been in a bad state recently. The more you explain, the more it feels like you're apologizing for simply being yourself. Starting today, you can practice an action that will feel extremely unfamiliar, but is incredibly powerful. After you state a decision that is honest to yourself, simply add one short sentence. This is the most honest choice I can make right now. And then stop there. The other person might go quiet, might feel upset, might try to convince you otherwise, but you need to allow that little bit of awkwardness and not being understood to exist. That is your life growing a new backbone. In the past, you used explanations, appeasement, and constant fixing to fill in every crack, in exchange for a surface that looked harmonious. Now you need to learn to let some of those cracks remain, so that your relationships are forced to face the real you, instead of only facing the mask you wear. Move 3, set up an emotional no-go zone. This part belongs to you and you alone. Imagine your life as a house. In the past, you opened every room for others to use as a temporary recovery ward. Whoever felt bad could come stay at your place for a few days, whoever broke down could come cry it out with you. Now, you need to redraw a zone inside your heart. This is a space meant only for your own emotions, and other people's stuff can no longer be tossed in here at will. How do you actually do this? You can set aside 10 to 15 minutes every day just to write about your own emotions. I'm actually really angry today. I feel ignored. I don't want to be the one who always understands everyone else anymore. During this time, you don't reply to messages, you don't check other people's stories, You only ask yourself, if I could take care of just one person's feelings today, who would that person be? You'll discover a disturbing truth: you may not have truly answered that question for a very long time. As you keep doing this, you are essentially sending yourself a repeated message: my emotions are real too, and they deserve a whole room of their own. Little by little, this will pull you back from being an emotional warehouse manager to being a person actually living in their own home. Move 4. Run a small experiment in showing up with your shadow. You can choose a relatively safe, small setting, like a friend or partner you have a fairly stable relationship with, or a family member you trust. In this setting, deliberately do something you would never have done in the past. Say the unpleasant but honest sentence you always swallow. Allow yourself to keep a straight face, not smile, not smooth things over. Allow yourself, when the other person is unhappy, not to rush in and comfort them right away. For example, when the other person is overwhelmed and dumps everything on you, you can try saying, I understand you're really hurting right now, but today I truly don't have the strength to carry anyone else's emotions. I need to take care of myself first. You will feel extremely nervous. You'll be afraid of losing them, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of hearing, you've changed. But in that very moment, your shadow, the part of you that gets angry, wants to say no, and wants to care for yourself first, is being invited back onto the main stage of your life. You'll find that the relationships truly worth keeping will, after the initial shock, slowly learn a new way of being with you. They start to realize you're not a bottomless pit, you're a person with boundaries, with emotions, with limits. And those relationships that only ever treated you as an emotional tool may drift away, blame you, or turn cold. Yes, that will hurt. But that's not your failure, that's your life completing a round of filtering. You might ask, if I do this, will I really become a cold, selfish person? You can rewrite that question into a version that's closer to the truth. When you stop carrying everyone else's emotions, you're not turning bad, you're finally stopping the betrayal of yourself. The real you has never been the person who always smiles and says, it's fine. The real you is the one who can both empathize with others and still stand on your own side. When you start dismantling that old program of, I have to be responsible for everyone's feelings, your energy will slowly begin to flow back, and the map of your relationships will quietly start to redraw itself. Some people will leave, some will stay, but the ones who stay will be those willing to meet the real you on equal ground. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in the final part. When you stop carrying everyone's emotions, you'll discover a final truth that is both brutal and liberating. The most important task of your life is not to make everyone comfortable, but to finally dare to let yourself stand fully present on the stage of your own life. By the time you've listened this far, you already have a faint sense of the answer in your heart. What really drains you has never been those few big fights or dramatic breakdowns, but all those seemingly no big deal, it's fine moments, every time you quietly heft someone else's emotions onto your own shoulders, without ever asking one simple question: then who is carrying you? When you finally stop, and no longer carry everyone else's emotions, what happens next? At the beginning, what you feel is not relief, but vertigo. Kierkegaard said that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. You're used to being needed, used to responding immediately. When you first allow yourself not to pick up, not to reply, not to soothe, you suddenly realize, so I actually don't have to keep acting out that old script. This kind of freedom will scare you at first. You'll worry that relationships will fall apart, that you'll disappoint people, that you're becoming a bad person. But behind that layer of guilt and discomfort, something else is hidden, something you haven't felt in a long time, a tangible sense of your own existence. Jung would say, what we call fate is, for the most part, the projection of unconscious inner patterns onto the outer world. In the past, you treated carrying everyone's emotions as fate. Now, when you start seeing it as a pattern that can be noticed and adjusted, fate stops being something you can only endure, and becomes a script you're allowed to rewrite. Imagine an utterly ordinary morning. The alarm rings, your phone lights up, and messages start popping up in a long line, a coworker's ranting voice notes from last night, a friend's long story, scattered emotional fragments from family. The old you would immediately tap them open, listening while brushing your teeth, already rehearsing in your head how to comfort, how to respond, how to deal with all these emotional bombs. But this time, you just glance at the screen, take a deep breath, and place the phone face down on the table. You ask yourself first, in the state I'm in right now, can I really handle all of this? You go wash your face, drink some water, and even if it's just 10 minutes, you give that time to yourself first and write down how you actually feel today. I'm already really tired. I kind of don't want to listen to anyone complain anymore. Today I want to take care of my own things first. Then you do something the old you would never have done. You decide to reply with the simplest but most honest message. I've seen your message and I know you're having a hard time, but I'm really not in a good state today, and I don't have the capacity to truly listen and respond properly. When I've adjusted a bit and feel better, can we talk then? Did the world collapse? No. The other person might feel disappointed, might go quiet, might feel unsettled, but the sun still rises as usual, and you are not struck by lightning just because you didn't immediately rush in to carry their emotions. On your way home from work, you notice that today, for some reason, you don't feel as drained hollow as before. You still feel tired, but it's a kind of tiredness that comes from your body having worked, not that vacuum feeling of having your emotions siphoned off bucket by bucket. You're starting to learn to be responsible only for your own life tasks. Today you can focus on finishing one piece of work seriously, genuinely say no to an emotional demand that's beyond your capacity, eat a quiet meal without replying to messages between bites, turn off your phone before bed, and allow the world to keep turning without you for a while. Some people will slowly drift away because you're no longer on call all the time. They may say you've changed, that you've gone cold, that you're not as sweet and thoughtful as you used to be. It will hurt, but you'll gradually realize, those relationships were never built on truly seeing you, they were built on how much emotional service you could provide. At the same time, another kind of person will slowly come into focus. They start learning to care about your feelings too. When they ask, "How have you been lately?" it's no longer just a social greeting. After pouring out their own pain, they'll turn around and ask, "I've been talking so much about myself. How are you today?" That is the real starting point where a relationship begins to move from imbalance toward mutuality. You'll notice that once you stop automatically picking up everyone else's emotions, your energy stops leaking like a bucket full of holes, and your life finally has space for the things that truly matter to you: studying, creating, moving your body, spacing out, taking care of your health, and most importantly, rebuilding a relationship with your own inner world. In the end, This entire path will lead you to a simple yet fate-altering realization. The most important task of your life has never been to keep everyone comfortable, but to finally dare to stand on your own side. You can keep playing the role, you can keep being the one who always understands, who's always available, who always says, "It's okay." Or, starting today, even if it's only in one tiny situation, you can make a different choice. Pause and ask yourself, what about me? No one else is going to make that decision for you. No one is going to hit the pause button for you before you're completely drained. But the moment you refuse, even for just one instant, to keep carrying everyone else's emotions, the trajectory of your life has already quietly shifted away from that track leading straight to exhaustion. From here on, it's in your hands. Before you close this video, try answering a few questions in the comments. 1. In your life, whose emotions are you most used to carrying? Your parents, your partner, your co-workers, or pretty much everyone? 2. What is the one, emotionally drained to the core, experience you'll never forget? In that moment, what did you say to yourself? 3. If today you allowed yourself to do just one small thing that stops you from carrying everyone else's emotions, what would it be? Write it down, not just for engagement, but as a witness for yourself. From this moment on, you're no longer just a background prop in other people's emotional stories. You're starting to step back into the main frame of your own life.